welcome back to another episode of FNS Sports Media Podcast. This is episode 27. It's going to be another Christmas edition. I'm Cooper.
My name's Aaron.
And let's get right into it. So MLB is over, and now we're going into free agency. And not gonna lie, there's been a lot of additions. On our last episode, we kind of went through the beginning. There wasn't much happening, and then now we're kind of getting into it. A really big name signed, and now I feel like more of the big names are going to start signing because once that big fish is gone, then everything starts to tumble down.
Yeah, that's the big domino. Everybody was waiting for the Ohtani signing to take place. Once he set the market for everything else, I think we're going to see. You're going to see a lot of these other big names signed pretty quickly.
Yeah. All right. Let's get with the biggest name, like almost ever in free agency. The Dodgers signed Shohei Ohtani. Now listen to this: for $700 million for 10 years. So he's making $70 million over 10 years, which is just blows my mind because that is the biggest free agency signing we've ever seen. And we thought the Trout signings, we thought the Harper signings, we thought the Judge signings. We all thought those were the biggest signings that we're ever going to see. And then Ohtani comes around, hits free agency, and boom, $700 million. It just is crazy.
Yeah, blew out the entire market. I think that's way higher than anybody was expecting him to sign for, especially given the fact that he's not going to pitch at all next season. Next season is basically purely a bat.
Yeah.
A very, very good bat,
mm-hmm.
but you're not getting two ways of Shohei Ohtani. Definitely interesting to see him go across town, sign with the Dodgers, leave the Angels and sign with the Dodgers. Especially there was a lot of smoke late last week about teams like the Blue Jays being involved. It was reported that, hey, done deal, Ohtani to the Blue Jays. Then all of a sudden comes out that he's signing with the Dodgers. A couple of things that I saw about this deal. Number one, a lot of this money, the $700 million is going to be deferred.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning paying it out longer than the length of the contract. That'll allow the Dodgers to be able to sign some additional pieces to try to build up everything around Ohtani. It's just absolutely ludicrous to me that a team even has that much money available to commit even long term. Second thing, Ohtani's contract, $700 million. Is worth more than the total value of the entire franchise of the Arizona Coyotes NHL team.
That's
so
crazy.
Shohei Ohtani could turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to take every dollar of this contract and I'm going to buy the Coyotes. I'm going to have money left over. And he's still going to have money left over. That's absolutely incredible. That's the case. I also saw that his average value, like you said, was $70 million a year, the average annual value. You know what his take-home pay is going to be after paying taxes in California? $34 million.
Oh my!
And so the state of California says, thank you very much, Mr. Ohtani. They're going to take, between the federal government and the state government, they're going to take 36 out of that $70 million to line their coffers. So hopefully there's some good roads being built in California with that state income tax money. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, let's keep it going. The Reds added J-Merrick Candelario. I think it's a great signing. Now they do have a lot of infielders, which kind of surprised me, but now I feel like they're probably going to move someone in that mix. What do you think?
Yeah, they'll have to, and either somebody's going to have to move and start to learn how to play the outfield, or they're going to have to move some infielders for an outfielder. I would expect a name like Jonathan India to be somebody that gets moved, but this Candelario signing is it's a good fit for the Reds.
Yeah.
And I also think that if they do decide to move on from India, that's going to be an intriguing trade piece. I think they could definitely get value in return for him.
Oh yes, he's young and he's good. This one, probably the second biggest one that happened so far. The Yankees, They got Juan Soto they got Juan Soto from the Yankees and Trent Grisham for Michael King, Drew Thorpe, Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, and catcher Kyle Higashioka. I hope I didn't botch that name.
Well, I think you did, but that's okay. You just said it a little slow. Higashioka. It rolls off the tongue just beautifully. Higashioka. But yeah, it was a great deal for the Yankees. You know, they gave up a load of prospects, but none of them were any of their biggest prospects.
Mhm.
So they're able to take what some people say is a future Hall of Famer. I personally find him annoying and obnoxious, but a guy with a great bat, potential future Hall of Famer, getting him in the prime of his career for a year. Because he's a Scott Boras client, and what do Scott Boras clients always do?
Go to free agency.
Go to free agency. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Juan Soto next year. But I think the Yankees, after last year's debacle of a season, the Yankees are saying, you know what? That's a next year problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're trying to do anything they can to wash the taste of the 2023 season out of their mouth, even if it means giving up 5 prospects and 1 major league ready pitcher in return for 1 year of Juan Soto. If that's what it takes for them to feel better about where their roster is at going into the 2024 season, they're going to be all about it.
Yep, I mean, it is the Yankees. They apparently have infinite money. So the Diamondbacks added Eduardo Rodriguez to their roster. I think it's a good fit. I think that the Diamondbacks, they're a few pitchers away because, you know, they had to in the World Series, they had to go out there with pitchers that I'm like, who? Because, I mean, they had Zach Gallen, they had Merrill Kelly, and then they had that Brandon Pfaadt guy, and they were all pretty good. But if you bring in Eduardo Rodriguez, I feel like they're a World Series team last year. They might be able to get even farther and win the World Series this year. Maybe that's a stretch, but it's going somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's a great signing for the Diamondbacks. They're able to check off several boxes there. They're able to bring in a guy who will strengthen their rotation. They didn't need to bring in an ace with Zach Gallen on the team already. They just needed more starting pitching depth, and Eduardo Rodriguez is an upgrade over just about every other pitcher on their roster, and they get to do it at a pretty reasonable price, $20 million a season over 4 years. They're not committing long term to anybody. And Eduardo Rodriguez has been a very, very solid piece for teams whenever he's healthy. He has had some difficulty staying healthy, but I think that he's left-handed. He's a solid contributor across the board in multiple statistical categories, and he's not going to break the bank. So I think it was a fantastic signing for the Diamondbacks.
Yes, the Orioles not really replaced, but they had to get someone else because Felix Bautista got injured with Tommy John. But they did get Craig Kimbrell for a 1-year deal for $13 million. I think it's awesome. Maybe they're just like, all right, we just need someone to hang on in that 9th inning before Felix Bautista comes back. Then Felix Bautista comes back, and then we're going to be good.
Yep, that's the whole point of the 1-year deal with Kimbrell. Somebody who's got experience in the late stages of the game, somebody who's been successful throughout his entire career. Short contract, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And guess what? Bautista's coming back next season, and so you know it's a good fit for both teams.
Yeah, we're just gonna go through these rest. The Red Sox and Yankees. The Red Sox traded away Alex Verdugo. I think it's a good trade. Eric Fedde and the Chicago White Sox signed on a 2-year, $15 million contract. Chris Davinsky and the Tampa Bay Rays agreed to a 1-year contract. The Braves get Jared Kelenic, left-hander Marco Gonzalez, and first baseman Evan White from the Seattle Mariners for right-handed Jackson Kowar and Cole Phillips. The Reds bolster their rotation with not trading. They got Nick Martinez from free agency for 2 years, $26 million. Pretty good. Luis Severino joins the Mets on a 1-year deal. I think this is an awesome signing. Severino is injured a lot, but if the Mets can get someone else, maybe like a Yamamoto, and if Severino can stay healthy, they could be pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. And lastly, the Cardinals and the Boston Red Sox agreed on a trade to send Tyler O'Neill from St. Louis over from St. Louis to Boston in exchange for two minor league arms. What do you think about that deal?
I think that the Cardinals had a logjam in the outfield. I kind of wish. I mean, for Cardinals fans, I feel like our view of Tyler O'Neill was a little bit higher than other teams, and I feel like we thought that we might be able to get a little bit more. But then this is really reality. We're just gonna get two prospects from Tyler O'Neill. I mean, I guess it's a good deal.
Well, honestly, it's like the Cardinals need bullpen help.
Yeah. Maybe
this is gonna help, and the Cardinals also needed more than anything, they needed to clear some of that logjam in the outfield. I think part of the problem with Cardinals outfielders last year was just too many players and not enough at bats, and nobody really got into a rhythm with anything. So clearing out one of them is going to give more regular at bats to the other guys, which I think will lead to better production.
Yes. That intro's new, but it's suiting because we're going to do the NHL power rankings. We're just going to do 1 through 5, kind of like what we did last time with the NFL. How about you start us off?
Well, Christmas time is winter time. Winter time means hockey. And so, very fitting that we take some of this Christmas episode here and talk about probably my second favorite sports, talking about some hockey. We're seeing a lot of fantastic action in the NHL season this year. We're just going to talk through maybe the top 5 teams, like Cooper said. Number 1, Los Angeles Kings. Great to see the Kings as a franchise be back to being one of the powerhouses. You haven't seen them be this good in several years, but they've won 11 straight road games to start the season. They're 16-4-3, but interestingly enough, all of their losses have come at home. So they're undefeated on the road, but they're 5-4-3 on home ice. Interesting little stat there for the Kings, but they're by far the best team in the NHL.
Yes, it's kind of like the opposite of the Astros last season, because the Astros couldn't win at home. Actually, it's kind of like the Astros. The Astros couldn't win at home, but they could win on the road. And next, number 2 is going to be the New York Rangers. They're not that far from the Kings. Lafreniere is working towards a 30-goal season, which is going to be awesome. What do you think about the Rangers?
Yeah, I think it's great to see another team that's a big market team that the NHL needs to be good in order for the NHL to be successful. You get the team in Los Angeles, you get the team in New York. Really great to see some of those big market.
Vegas Golden Knights. Jack Eichel, I hope I didn't botch that name too. He's had 12 goals this season, pretty good. And now let's talk about the 2 goalies. Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson have 17.3 goals saved above expected combined. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here for Vegas is to see the production of Jack Eichel. They made the trade with Buffalo a couple seasons ago after really a lost season for Eichel in Buffalo. He really just needed to get out of there. He'd been injured, arguing about the best course of action to cure that injury or just to resolve that injury. And so the Golden Knights went out on a limb, traded for him, and they're really reaping the benefits of that trade right now. He's leading the Golden Knights, one of the top teams in the Western Conference.
Yes, definitely. Let's go to number 4, Colorado Avalanche. They do have Cal Maker, which is pretty good, but they do kind of have a lack of scoring. They have some power play struggles. But Nathan McKinnon, he does have 10 goals and 26 assists, which is awesome, which that combines for kind of 36 assists, technically. No,
36 points.
Cut that out too. Okay, start over. Gosh, I hate this.
All right, but we got about a minute and a half before people start coming in.
All right, we're going to Number 4 is the Colorado Avalanche. They do have Cal Maker, which does have a potential bid for the Hart Trophy, but the Colorado Avalanche, they do kind of have a lack of scoring. They do have some power play struggles, but a bright side, Nathan McKinnon, he does have 10 goals and 26 assists, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think that this isn't the last year's version of the Avalanche or the year prior to that. They're not as solid as they had been in the past, but they're still one of the top teams. Still one of the top teams in the NHL.
Yes, definitely. Number 5 is the Boston Bruins. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think the Bruins. They're looking like they're on the path to being a force to contend with in the Eastern Conference. Charlie Coyle, Pavel Zacha, and Matthew Poitras. Those are all big time names that they're having right there. But they still need to see a little bit more out of Brad Marchand and everything else to really make that leap into the upper tier. But they're a fantastic team. It's going to be them. It's going to come down to them and the Rangers, and then you also have the Devils with an outside shot at things.
Yes, definitely. So we're just going to go over the top 5. Thanks to The Athletic, ESPN, and MLB.com for all the information. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you guys later.